my plug or the guy that put me on to the actual credit card information that introduced me to the gold, he gives me a stack of like a phone book. He like, here, this is yours. It's all credit card information. Before I touch anything, I always want to figure out where I stand with this particular information. Figure out, when the bill is due, what's the credit limit. I want to make sure everything lined up before I touch anything. The gold was always profitable to me. I call the gold one of the distributors, right? I'm on it's an automated system on the phone with them. And I hear them say, hey, for the diamond department, press 5. The diamond department, like, ain't no way they got diamonds. I'm thinking in my head, like, let me just try my luck. So I press 5. So they transfer me to the customer service representative. She's like, how can I help you? I give them the information, one of the companies. I'm Googling on my phone. I just throw out a company like, that I possibly think that, they possibly have relations with. So she's like, hey, I got your account pulled up. How can I help you? So I'm like, well, hey, I'm looking for, I just throw something out there like a 2-carat diamond round, this particular, this particular thing. And she's like, okay, well, this is what we have. She gave me some options. I say, well, give me that one, So in my mind,
you're just trying to see if this will even work.
I'm just trying it, right. And it's really, like I say, at the end of the day, I was really calling it for gold.
Yeah.
But when I heard on the automated system that they actually had diamonds, I'm like, let me try it. So I placed the order. Now, mind you, like I told you before, like how I transitioned from learning from different things. When I placed the order, she gives me the FedEx tracking number. I told you, like I said, a lot of times before with the gold, I would reroute packages to an abandoned apartment, to an abandoned house, wherever that I could get my hands on it. Because when they send stuff, a package or things of that nature, when they send anything, they're sending it to the actual address that's on file for that company. But when they send off the package for that company, I'm calling FedEx or UPS with that tracking number, and I'm calling UPS or FedEx and I'm rerouting that. So I would call FedEx and UPS and say, hey, this is such and such calling from such and such jewelers. I'm not going to be at my establishment or my business today, so can I reroute the package to this particular address? Let's say, sure, where's the address that you need to send to? So I would reroute it to that particular address. And this is an overnight package because a lot of times I would never deal with anything that's going to have a delay on it, because the company would, a lot of times they get emails, they get notifications saying, hey, you have a package on the way. So I always want to do for early AM delivery by 10:30. Because most jewelry stores and most of these places open up at 10. I need the package to me by 10:30 because I don't want them to log in or see anything, information saying they have a package on the way that they did not authorize or they did not, order.
Right. Or so, do they get the notification that your package has been rerouted?
No. They have no clue that this is coming.
Nice.
So when it comes the next day, like I say, I order the package. It's like I say, at this particular time, it's like a 2-carat diamond. So I'll order it. And I, honest to God truth, I rerouted to a house that's for sale. All right. So I rerouted to me. I had my son with me. I never forget. I had my son with me. At the time,
horrible.
I had my son with me. He was probably like 2 going on 3 years old. But during the day, I wasn't working. My son's mother would go to work, and I would be at home with my son all day. You know what I'm saying? I've been away from my son for like 2 years. So basically, I told her, we're not doing daycare. Like, I'm staying at home with my son. I'm going to watch him every day. You go to work. I'll take care of him. So I never thought the package was going to actually come. So when it came, I grabbed my son. He's like 2, 3 years old. Get his bag together, put him in the back seat, put him in his car seat. I ride off. So the package ends up getting delivered before I can get to the house. So in my mind, I'm like, it's no possible way that they just dropped a diamond off at an abandoned, but the driver, he doesn't know.
He has no idea what's in it.
So I'll drive by the house. I don't see it at first. Like, I'm looking at the house. I ride by it. I said, I don't see it. So I get out, I park, I get out the car. It's literally sitting on the first step while you going up to the actual, like little patio area. Mm-hmm. It's like in a small little envelope. I grab it, come back to the car, open it. It's like a 2.5-carat diamond, like sitting right here. Solitaire diamonds. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I grab it. I call my brother at the time. I say, hey, where you at? So he's like, I'm at home. Like, listen, I got to come to you. I got to show you something. Like, I'm coming to your house right now. He's like, all right, come on. I'm at the house. So I get over there, go to the house. I got my son with me. I show it to him. He was like, bro, how did you get this? I said, honestly, it was like like what we call, like I say in the streets, like it was a humbug. Like I had no idea that this was going to actually work, but it actually did. But prior to me doing other stuff, I knew that once it was ordered, I could get it into my hands. So like I say, I got the diamond. I told him, listen, I told my brother, I said, I need help actually selling this because I don't know what to sell it to. I knew at the time when I was selling the gold, I had to cash out that somebody was paying for the gold. It was a jeweler as well, but I didn't think I could go to him with actual diamonds. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, a lot of jewelers, they would take the gold and they'll melt it down and make whatever they want with it. But this is the actual diamond we're talking about. So I reached out to a couple of associates and friends of mine at the time. I said, listen, I'll give you a cut. I just need to find a buyer. I got this diamond. If you can find a buyer, I will give you a cut of it. So they're like, okay. It took them probably by like maybe a week or so, and they found the buyer. So I give them the diamond. They go basically make the sale for the diamond. While they're there,
what's a 2.5 carat diamond go for?
On the low end, probably $10,000.
Okay.
So when I actually sold it, while I never would be there, anytime a transaction is going on, I would never put my face on the scene. Mm-hmm. So while one of my associates, while he was there, the buyer basically told him, like, listen, this diamond is nice, but this is what I'm actually looking for. I'm looking for, with diamonds is they call it the 3 C's. It's cut, clarity, and color. So when it comes to diamonds, like any jeweler will tell you that those 3 C's that they make up, they can bring your high price range from high to low, depending on the color, depending on the clarity, depending on the cut. So he basically told me what type of cut he was looking for, which is most jewelers want to go for round cut because that's just, the ideal cut that most people want. They want high color, meaning like colors are based off the alphabet. So it's A, B, C, D, E, F. So they want something higher in the alphabet, not nothing on the back end, which is like S, T, U, V. They want something on the high end, A, B, C, D, somewhere around that range. And as far as like clarity, VS1, VS2, VVS, it goes all the way to it's a chart.
Right.
So he basically said, I only want something VS1 or VS2 and up. And I was like, okay, I can do that. So he said, if you give me this, if y'all can bring me these type of diamonds, like we can continue to do business. He gave me a price range. Basically like 3 carats, I'm going to give you 15,000. 4 carats, I'm going to give you 20,000. Anything bigger than the 4 carat is going to be 25,000 or 30,000 or more. You know what I'm saying? Depending on, like I say, the clarity and the, and the color. So I said, okay. So at the time, like I say, I just tried something and I didn't think it was going to actually work. But I went, when I got the information, that probably the next week and a half or so, I just did research. I really did my homework and I learned basically how the jewelry game works. I taught myself basically, I used to be up to 3, 4 in the morning, literally on my phone. If you go on Google, you can pretty much find anything, you just got to know how to search for things. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I started researching jewelry stores, start researching who's in charge of these jewelry stores, the actual general managers or the owners, who makes the sales and the purchases. I go on their page, I go find out who's the boss. And I'm looking at these jewelry stores.
The Jews.
Yeah. I'm looking at these. Yeah,
right? They own a ton of them.
You're exactly right. And the thing about it is a lot of the Jews do run the jewelry industry. And later on down the line, it was funny because they would get to speaking to me in their language just to see if I was who I was. And a lot of times I would hang up because I'm like, I can't impersonate this person because they get to speaking in Arabic and all these other languages that I'm not familiar with. But the Jews you are correct. A lot of them do run the jewelry industry.
Hebrew.
So, right. You're Hebrew. Right. So they're
Arabic.
speaking. Yeah, not Arabic. It's Hebrew.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. So they would get to speak to me in that language just to see, cross-reference, hold on, is this who he say he is?
Yeah.
So I did my research, and it took me a little while, like I say, and basically how the jewelry industry works is everything is basically like you said, they're Jews, so it's like a faith-based system, and it's also based on consignment. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the jewelry industry is very, very small. It's a lot of jewelers, but they're all familiar with each other. Mm-hmm. So basically, once you learn the language on how to talk to these distributors and manufacturers, they will give you whatever you want. But you have to actually know how to talk to these people without sounding like you're not such and such. So what I learned how to do is after I did my research, I researched the companies, then I would research the distributors and manufacturers that had these diamonds, these solitaire diamonds. And I would also, watches or things of that nature. Anything type of watch you can think of, Rolex, Petit, anything you can think of. You know what I'm saying? Any type of watch you can think of, I would try to find which one of these stores own these particular Rolex watches or Audemars watches or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times when I would take the time to actually do my research, I will look for the companies, like in my sense, I would say like the LeBron James of the industry. I want the big names because the big names have the credit to take on these consignment basically packages, and they have a reputable name with these people. To whereas if I was to say, hey, I need you to send me a 4-carat diamond, I have a customer coming in tomorrow, you're going to send it without any questions asked. And so, like I said, a lot of times when I would order these packages, I would know who I'm impersonating, and I would know what I'm looking for, and I would know exactly like, hey, I would dress up a store. Hey, I got a customer coming in tomorrow. They're looking for a 3-4-carat engagement ring. What do you have available? Oh, who am I speaking with? Oh, this is such and such. So, and like, in a sense, I would always tell people like, basically, if I call, like, let's say in the drug industry or whatnot, if I call your plug and I impersonate that I'm you, your plug like, hey, how you doing? What do you need? I can front it to you, like, well, send me this. Same address, yeah, send it to the same address, but it's not going to make it to the address because I'm going to reroute this package. Or I might even tell you before you even send the package, hey, don't send it there. I got a new address. So send it here instead. But your plug or your manufacturer, your distributor has no idea that I'm not you. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, because at the end of the day, they deal with you, but a lot of stuff they deal with is through email. So they're not familiar with the voice on the other end of the phone. They're familiar with the name and the company or the representative for that company, but a lot of times, a lot of stuff is done through email. So when I call in, they basically, they're like, oh, this must be important because this is such and such actually calling on the phone. So that's what I would do. So I would call in and I would call these particular companies. And a lot of times, like I say, when I call the companies and they would send the actual package through the actual mail, I would reroute the package, whether it be to the abandoned apartment, or a lot of times this is what I started doing. I would get it sent to like a FedEx store or a UPS store. And through the FedEx store, the UPS store, I would actually have, I would make IDs. I would need an actual state ID, a government issued ID, and an employee ID. Because after a while, the apartments and abandoned houses, it was getting like, it was too hot. Like, I can't keep sending these packages there because at any given time, they could set up a sting operation and then one of my people end up getting, incarcerated or locked up for these packages. So what I started doing is I started sending it to like the FedEx or UPS locations. Like, let's say, for instance, you get a package sent to your house, right? And they leave the little tag on the door and say, sorry, we missed you. You can pick up your package at this location. Those little whole locations, those little UPS stores or FedEx stores, I would call UPS or FedEx and say, hey, can you hold this package there? So I had them hold the package there. I would call in and call FedEx or UPS, have them hold the package there. And when I had them hold the package there, I would send one of my runners in there to actually pick the package up.
Does he give him his ID? Because he doesn't have a clue.
Everything's fake.
Oh, it's
everything's
all fake. Okay.
Everything's fake.
I was going to say, if it's a regular runner, he doesn't know what's going on.
No, he don't know what he's going on.
But you still don't want him to bring it to your location.
Right.
Because when he gets questioned, he'll tell the cops, well, this is where I brought it.
Right. So basically, he or she would go in there with the made-up employee ID and the made-up state ID. Go in there. I've already told FedEx and UPS, hey, this is such and such coming there to pick up the package. So once they show them, they need 2 forms of ID. Anytime you order something, or you send something in the mail that's on a business address, you need 2 forms of ID. If it's residential, you just need a state ID. But if it's a business address, you need 2 forms of ID. So they would need an employee ID saying they work for that company, and they would need a state ID saying, hey, this is my actual identification. And they would go into the store and pick it up. So that's what I started actually doing because, like I said, a lot of times the abandoned, they would look up the address that I'm, trying to send it to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't working. Like if I try to add this address to their account, they'll look it up and see, hey, this is an abandoned house.
Yeah, it's a residential
right.
house.
And also it would take too long for me to reroute it, because if I reroute a package, it might not get there the next day. They have to reroute it, so it might be there the next day after that. And by that time, the company might catch on. So I just started doing hold for pickups. So hold for pickups would basically allow me to, it'll come in that next day, it'll hold at the FedEx store or UPS location. I could pick it up that morning. Basically, it'll be available for pickup by like 8 o'clock that morning. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, that worked for a while.